Good afternoon, everybody. This is Matt, aka the Lumberjack Landlord, joined by my friend, good buddy, one of the three amigos, Dion. How's it, Dion the Shrink today? How's it
Today,
going?
I
How's
feel
it
like
going?
that's how it's going to go.
This is kind of how it's going to go. So this impromptu video from the two of us is based on the Lumberjack. I believe I handled a deal beautifully and it fell apart, but I'm here to use you as a sounding board to see what I screwed up.
Happy to help. And the thing to start with before I know any details
Yeah.
is you didn't miss your shot. You
No.
missed that shot.
I did. Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
So let us hear the details.
It's true. So what Dion's point is absolutely correct. I'm not finished real estate investing. I only lost on that deal, even though I really wanted that deal. It was a great deal. So anyway, so I'll kind of walk you through it, but here's what the process is. Last week, go look at the property on Friday. Take a look at the property, walk through it. There's not really a whole lot of people in attendance there. It is a unique property. It will not go FHA. It will not go VA. It is a single family home with an ADU already built that is a trailer, 1-bedroom trailer that's allowed and allowed by the city. And then it has a garage with a car lift in it. So this is really tickling my fancy. I love this. This is exactly the kind of deal that I like to do because I just unearth value out of those deals all day long, right? So I look at the deal and it's priced really, really inexpensively. It's kind of like almost a little bit shocking. $240,000. The value's probably, because of the condition of everything, the value's probably 275 to 300 would be my guess. Walk through the property. Like I said, not a lot of people there. I introduced myself to the broker. My broker couldn't make it, but she knew my broker, so it wasn't a problem getting me in. We walk in, we go through it. Place needs work. Everything, almost every surface there needs touching. So that's fine. That's what I'm good at. Not a problem. We start talking about, I said, so what made you pick that price? And she said, that was his idea. Oh, okay. Did you have a different idea? Yeah, I did. I think that's too expensive. Okay. That kind of shocked me. If my agent ever did that, Jay, you ever do that, you're fired. I would never, ever want them to say that they thought it was too expensive. It's not an opinion that they can have. So that was how it went. And then she said, yeah, one of the things that we're looking at is potentially doing a cash deal, also a finance deal, but with the finance piece, obviously VA, FHA, there's no way this property gets approved. And I said, I completely understand. I said, it would likely, I can get it approved just with a construction loan, so it won't be a problem. I said, but either way, this shouldn't be an issue. She said, well, we just want to make sure buyers are serious. So instead of sending her a proof of funds letter, I open up my banking app on my phone and I show her my proof of funds. I say, here's my proof of funds. This is not a problem. We can structure the deal however you'd like. She's like, that sounds great. I said, I love these old timers, the guy's in his early 70s. I love the old timers. I love working deals with those guys because I get to give them the rest of their life and they get to give me something, their legacy, which I get to continue. Love those kinds of deals. That's the story of the walkthrough. I get a call from my agent later that night. He said, you want to move forward? I said, yes, let's move forward on this deal. So he said, what do you want to go in at? And I said, well, I told her that I had no problem going in at list price. He said, I got a phone call from her and she said that she thinks we should come in at 200. And I'm like,
from her who? The agent or the seller?
The selling agent.
Okay.
The selling agent calls us and says, I think if you come in at 200, I think we're probably good. I can probably get that done. And I'm thinking, I mean, it's not what I was ready to offer more, but if that's the guidance, I asked my 3 questions. She said, these are the 3 important areas. We want to get a deal done. So we want to know that you're qualified. We want to get a big deposit. So we know that you can't walk away. And we don't want to do inspections. I spent an hour at the property. I had no concerns. It was all dated and old, but not structurally unsound or falling apart or any of those things. So we structured the offer this way. The number that she asked for, a big deposit, which was $15,000 in cash, a check, that can go into escrow, and then no inspections. So we honored all three of her requests. She got that offer on Saturday night. Sunday, they come back to us and they say, so he's concerned that you do have a clause in there about the appraisal. So what can we do about that? And so, and can you go up in your deposit? And I said, sure, we'll go to $20,000 in our deposit. That's fine. And on the appraisal, I will allow for a 10% gap coverage. So if the appraisal comes in at 90%, I will give you the difference. Not a problem. So I'll only get financing on the 180 instead of the 200. So she writes back, she goes, sounds great. Let me get that in front of him. She then, so then that's now Sunday. And then that was Father's Day. And so she's like, yeah, I really can't get him to look at it today. So let me just reach out to you on tomorrow. Okay, sounds fair. So Monday comes and she's like, I'm still waiting on an answer from him, but we should be getting wrapped up. And so, you know, I'll definitely touch base with you. I'll definitely touch base with you tomorrow. So we're like, all right, well, we really kind of need an answer on this because now this has dragged on for 4 days. We've kind of negotiated it back and forth. I gave you everything you asked for. Give me a counter, like give me some sort of a counter in writing. So at this point, I'm starting to feel a little bit like my deal might be getting shopped. And so ironically enough, this morning, I get a call from my broker. He goes, hey, I got a late email late last night saying they took another offer. They're going to pass on ours and that they've already accepted the other offer. So
Any idea what that offer is?
she can't tell me so she couldn't tell my broker what the offer is, obviously. But the second piece of it is my belief. My belief is your job as an agent is you have a fiduciary responsibility to your client, the seller, to get them the absolute most money you possibly can. And when somebody comes in with an offer that tops the offer that you coached and that you said this is where they want to be, and then that deal doesn't get done, but we don't get notified of the other offer either. We were never notified that there was another person in the deal. We were never notified that there was another offer. And we were never given a chance to respond with any sort of a counter or best and final. It was just, you're out, you're done, period, end of story. We took the other offer we already signed. Thanks for playing, and no phone call.
So you've been doing this for a while. Is there a way later to find out, did the listing agent also represent the buyer in the other offer?
I can find that out. I can't find that out until it closes, which it won't close for me now. But that's my only belief. My only belief is that she did the wrong thing for her seller and she did the right thing for herself. Because she loses nothing. The way I view it is, and agents, please chime in here. The way that I view it is, if I'm an agent, I'm looking for best and final. I'm looking for the best price with the best terms that my seller can get as representing them. When I have a great offer on the table that's been negotiated after 4 days and I've given guidance on all those deals, and then I hold that and then I don't give them answers for a couple of days, even though I said to them, it's just being worked on, it's being this, it's starting to get excuses. Our call this morning was going to be, what's really going on? Like, has he countered with something? So the only belief structure that I have at this point is that she did the wrong thing. It's likely it's likely a buyer that she brought to the situation. And so she's going to get double commission. And that's why she never even bothered coming back to us, because we never said best and final. Nothing like that was reflected in the doc. And the conversation that I had with her on site was, yeah, I mean, if this is something that needs to go cash, we can certainly, go through that process.
Have you worked with that agent before? Heard of that agent, seen that agent?
So I've heard of that agent before, but she's really focused. So Lynn is focused in Barrington, New Hampshire, and she only does work in that area. And I don't care. I have insurance. Sue me, Lynn, you suck. But the fact of the matter is that that's kind of how the whole entire deal process went. And I don't believe that the seller's need or the seller's best interests were served, because I told her in the very beginning I could do less. I told her in the very beginning we could do cash. But why do a cash deal when I don't have to do a cash deal unless they come back and say, we'll do that deal, but we want it to be cash. 4 days, I got one counter in 4 days, and I acquiesced and gave them everything that they asked for.
Okay, so therapy time,
Yeah, hit me.
followed by devil's advocate.
Yeah, please go for it.
So the therapy, don't fall in love with the deal.
Yeah, of course.
Numbers work. It's a numbers game. You move on to the next one.
Yes.
As a buyer, as a buyer, you are never going to know the full story. You won't know what mattered to the seller,
Yeah,
what the motives were of the listing agent were. Okay, so that we can move on from because you don't have control there. But here's the devil's advocate side.
yeah,
And this is from working in law enforcement. When a police officer shows up at a scene, you don't get to go, I think this happened.
right.
Let me find evidence to back it up.
Sure, sure.
Right.
Yep.
So that's going to be your motivation now, is to look and go, I think I'm being screwed over. And I think she double dipped commissions. And I don't think she did the best interest of her seller. So that's your theory.
The narrative.
That you are now looking for evidence to back up, which is normal. You're going to,
Sure.
when you can find out if they represented both sides, you'll do that.
Yep.
But since you don't know the whole story, there are scenarios
Mhm.
that might not be as likely to happen, but it's is it low cards law? Reduce it to the simplest.
Yes.
Occam's razor.
Occam's razor. Yes.
Occam's razor, right? Yeah, low cards is the theory of transfer. So Occam's razor means the simplest explanation is more than likely the actual reason. What if the
Mhm.
seller didn't care as much about price as ability to close, and somebody else came out with an offer that just said, all cash, this price, waive all contingencies? You don't know that until it closes. You might be able to find out some of that information.
Mhm.
So I would sit back and think, okay, this is what seems like the best attack on me would be since I lost my deal. So
Mhm.
that's probably what happened.
Mhm.
But then think, is the agent kind of new? That would be my first thing. Did they just screw this up?
30 years. in the
Second,
business. Yeah, not
did they have a buyer who wasn't sure? And the best way to get that buyer to take action was to take your offer, not to the seller, but to that buyer and
Yeah,
say,
100%. Yep.
here's what you need to beat. This is an actual real current offer that someone's making. And if you beat this, you can get it.
I think I got shopped.
You got shopped. Exactly.
I
Right.
think I got shopped.
So it's a finite world in real estate,
Mhm.
and you know the agent's name.
I
You
do.
interact in that area,
I
and
do.
you have your insurance in place to let people know what you think happened.
Yeah.
And I would say, to protect yourself, it wouldn't be, I think they double dipped rates, I think they didn't benefit the seller. You could say, I was never told there was another buyer. They accepted without asking me for my best and final.
True. Yep.
That poor practice, not unethical, not illegal, but poor practice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So my only take is, I believe anytime you don't go best and final, you're being unethical, because you're not going to get your seller's best deal. Your seller's best deal comes from competition and making sure that everybody has put their best foot forward and given you their highest and best, right? So that's just the way I do business. I've sold like 6 or 7 properties. We've always allowed it to get, if there were 2 offers, we've always let the other person know as courtesy, there is another offer. I believe, I'm not sure that's New Hampshire state law, but it might be. But we've always given that, which is, there are 2 offers, or we'll say there's a multiple offer situation, and we're looking for best and final, and best and final is not just price, it's best and final and terms and price.
So here's my experience.
Yes.
And I think this is a mistake that a lot of investors make.
Okay.
We know, if I'm going to sell a property,
Yep.
I want as many eyes on the property as possible.
Yep.
And I want some time to pass to fish for the best offer. And sometimes that's price, sometimes it's closing, sometimes it's,
Okay.
let me live there for 3 months until I, buy the next house after I sell this one, whatever matters to the seller. We know we would take the time to do that.
Yep.
But for the past 2 years, Matt, what's been our strongest tool in finding properties? Do you know?
No, I don't.
Speed.
Oh yeah, speed. Yeah, that was
Because
Yep.
a lot of sellers
Yep.
aren't investors, inherited the property, or have been investors and haven't bought a property in over 30 years. So they're paid off and they can't believe the prices they're going to get from their agents. So they're not going, I want to get eyes on, I want time to compare. They're going, my last 3 purchases were under contract in less than 24 hours.
Yeah, for sure.
There were no back and forths. There were no best and final. There was one that had an escalation clause, but they're literally, I make my offer, they have accepted it. That's it. I think you might have run into an agent that works that way.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, you can work that way. Doesn't mean it's not wrong.
Right.
In my
Because it's not
eyes.
the best interest of the seller.
No, and so here's the thing, in everything that we do, right? In all the work that you and I do, it's not for money. It's to help people, right? We want to help them get their deal. We want to help them learn, the mix of things. We want to help them, watch out for these pitfalls. These are all things we've experienced, gone through. That was the most important thing about doing this video, was to make sure that people know that even I would consider myself an elite investor because I know the areas inside and out. I know a ton of the people inside and out. I don't lose offers unless it's based on it's out of the realm of being in the return that I want. Those are deals that I DQ myself. Nope, that's no longer a deal for me because it doesn't meet my requirements. But best and final is always there. So the way that I will always do business is I always want to give everybody that opportunity. Best and final, put that in front of them. And I think the other thing that was quite cowardice was no phone call, just a Dear John text late at night. And then with a call to her office today, no follow-up call back. That means that you're probably not doing the best thing. And, that's kind of a problem because at this point, I'm not under contract. Technically, I can go and ask the seller. Technically.
Yeah, you can. You're not an agent.
I'm not, doesn't impact me at all. I could go ask
One of the reasons why I'm not an agent. I could do things like that.
That's exactly right. That's exactly why I don't have my license, is so I can do stupid lumberjack like things like that. Because that's honestly like a conversation. Listen, this guy's an old guy. He's retired. I know that he wants every dime that he possibly can get. This is the last thing that's going to happen in his life where there is a massive cash transaction. He owns the house outright. I just feel bad for that guy because we only did it based on the advice that she gave us because she's like, this is the deal that's going to get done. So I don't know if they threw it out for the number they threw it out for a specific reason, but she was like, but this is the number that gets it done. And she saw that in the first 5 days it was on the market, that she wasn't getting any other play. So that's what really bothers me the most about it, is that I'll live not doing this deal, but that guy I know got shortchanged. He didn't get all the money that he needed, and she's probably getting double commission.
All right. So 2 things, if I can remember and actually count that high, 2 things I want to talk about. First,
Yeah.
I get you to laugh at some point.
Yes.
And the first thing is kind of a way to correct the way you think.
Yeah.
Or show you a different way of thinking.
Sure.
You said the agent's job is to get the best deal, best amount of money, best whatever for the seller, right?
Yes. Yep.
So for the average person, if you ask them, what do you think a cop's job is? What do you think the average person would say? What is a cop's job?
Protect and serve.
A cop's job, and this is in every police department in the country,
Mhm.
make it home. You want to go home at the end of your shift. Your job is to survive for your family.
Sure.
You protect and serve, but it doesn't come at throwing your life away, right?
Sure. Gotcha.
Totally get that.
Yeah.
The agent's job, if you asked the average brokerage, the average place where the agent works, what is the agent's job? They would say,
Make the most money.
close the deal.
Yeah. Yep.
Your job is to close the deal. So
Mhm.
we would hope the agents we're working with, their best thing is to do their fiduciary responsibility to make sure we benefit the best with their skill set, right? Buyer or seller, doesn't matter.
True.
Isn't how they're seeing it. They're seeing it as close the deal. So that's the first thing.
Yeah.
The second thing, and this is something that we do with training at our company where I run the CDL school. We've never hired a manager. Our office managers, campus directors, lead instructors have all been people like I started off as a part-time night instructor and have been slowly demoted down to president and part owner of the company. So pretty much everybody that works here in some way in a management role started entry level and worked their way into it.
Mhm.
And so we have to have this class with them because a lot of times when somebody's been working and they get promoted, this is a new promotion, you're in a new leadership role.
Mhm.
And you get frustrated because those people that are now working for you don't go out of their way to make you look good. They don't come in early. They don't stay late and finish tasks. They clock in, they clock out. They're there for that agreed upon. You are working for this wage during these times. That's the agreement, right?
Sure.
So the new manager has to understand this sentence. You have to be okay with how much people suck. And if you're going to work in real estate and be an investor, you are going to encounter people like this agent who, in your own words, sucks.
Yeah, she's gone.
And that comes with the territory.
Yeah, agreed. So it's been interesting because in the last 2 years, we have closed 18 or 19 deals in the last 2 years. And some were sells and some were buys. And we have had 2 like this happen, where it was just, we had one that actually was sold and it was sold for $575. We had an escalator clause to $650. And yeah, and we didn't even get countered. We didn't even have any, they didn't even come back. And so again, if you're an agent, I recognize what Dion said is exactly right. But if you're an agent, I think that I do a lot of transactions in a small area. There's only 50,000 people population in these 3 towns that I do business in. Just going to tell people my experience. This was my experience, because at the end of the day, all we have is our name and how we do business. So I'm very interested to see the other agents, because I know we have a ton of agents that watch us. I'm very interested to get their feedback. I'm also interested to get other buyers' feedback. Like if they would be happy if they put themselves in my shoes and tried to do that deal, or if they can give me perspective on the seller side. So as always, we try and create awesome content for you guys. Like, subscribe, but put something down in the comments. Give me some perspective, because it sucks losing a deal, but it really sucks losing a deal knowing that the guy that was selling didn't get his best. He just didn't get his best, because we were fully prepared. We wrote the offer that they asked us for. And that was, and in hindsight, that might have been a mistake. Listening, I mean, I can't imagine listening to a seller's broker to build the deal that they wanted for and then negotiate it over 2 days. I can't imagine that's the bad deal, but that's what they said no to. So Dion, as always, I appreciate you shrinking me through it. It's much appreciated. Where can everybody find you, my friend?
Right here on YouTube, we need to put a little picture of Lucy with the doctor is in here.
Session in progress. Do not disturb. I'll go sit in the exit room for a while. Yeah, if you hear banging, don't come get me.
Right.
But Dion, as always, thank you, my friend. And guys, as I said, like, subscribe, give me some notes, give me some feedback. Has that ever happened to you? Is that the same scenario? I will read them. I always do. So guys, much appreciated. Thanks again, Dion. We'll talk again soon, my friend.
Ciao.